Hello YouTube and welcome to my channel, Jules Craft Room. I'm Julie and today we're doing week 3 part 2 of the summer picnic cow, and that's the raspberry ripple. We've done the strawberry ripple panel and now we're going to do the raspberry ripple panel. It's very similar, but you do start it off because it's an individual panel, whereas the strawberry one was done on the end of the melon panel. So we do need to start it off on 171 chain. I'm not going to repeat everything. I'm going to talk you through a lot of it so that you know, I don't bore you with doing the same stuff. But any problems I incur or change colours, I will pop in and show you. So I'll just turn you round and we'll make a start. Right, yes, so the start of the raspberry ripple pattern, I've put, I definitely recommend putting a stitch marker in to show which is your right side and which is your wrong side, and I've done that at both ends so I know this is my right side. You do the 171 chain and then that'll give you, you then start doing a double crochet into the second chain from the hook, and that gives you 170 double crochets. Then you go on to row 2, and row 2 is started on the wrong side, and you're doing a 3 chain and then you do a treble into every double crochet all the way along right to the end, and that gives you again 170 stitches. And then when you get to the end you turn and you're on your right side and you do row 3. Row 3 is a 3 chain, it's a treble into the first stitch, so it's exactly where you did your 3 chain, and then you chain 1, miss a stitch and do a treble, and you do that all the way along, and we've done that before. And when you get to the end it says to repeat this until you get to the end. Well, that would have you finishing there, and if you stop there you're going to be a stitch short, so you have to do another treble into that last stitch. And if you look at our strawberry pattern, it tells you to do that, but for some reason they haven't told you to do that in the raspberry ripple one. They've left that off, and if you leave it off you'll be down a stitch, so you need to do that last treble in there to get your stitch count. So then that's row 3 finished, so you turn and you do row 4, and row 4 is a 3 chain, a treble into the first stitch here because the 3 chain doesn't count, and then you do a treble into every treble and every chain space all the way along, and you do that right to the end, and it should look like that, and that gives you 170 stitches, and that is your row 4. So then row 5, which is the last one here, is just a treble, a 3 chain that doesn't count, and then a treble in every treble all the way along, and that's what it should look like. And now it tells you to fasten off. Well, I'm not going to fasten off because last time when we fastened off, because we're not turning this time, we would get to here and we wouldn't turn. There's no need to fasten off because we'll be joining the white again in a bit. So if you just leave a stitch marker on there to hold it in place, then you don't need to fasten off. Right, so now you go all the way to the beginning because you're not turning. So you're staying on the right side and you're going to join your lime colour. The first stitch like that, and then you do 1 chain and you do a double crochet into that stitch because that chain doesn't count as a stitch. Should double crochet, And then we do, like we did with the Lagoon Blue, we do a chain, miss a stitch, a double crochet, a chain, miss a stitch, a double crochet, chain, miss a stitch, double crochet. And you do that all the way along till you get to the end. And when you get to the end, you'll be fastening off, and you'll be doing a double crochet into the last stitch at the end of the repeat, and then you'll be fastening off, and we'll be joining the white, and I'll see you then. Right, so when we get to the end of the 6th row, row 6, you're going to fasten off. You'll see you'll have done one chain, miss a stitch, you've done a double crochet, and then you'll do your last double crochet into that last stitch, and then you'll fasten off. And then we're going to turn, and you either join the white, or if like me you didn't bother cutting it, you don't have to. So I'm going to take that out, and the white's already there. Right, so the white should be on the wrong side, which it is because my stitch markers are on the right side. And I'm going to slip stitch the white up to here. And then I'm going to do 3 chain, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to treble into the first stitch, which will be this one here. And then you miss a stitch, and then you do 2 trebles into each of the chain spaces. So 1, 2, miss a stitch, 2 trebles into the place. 1, 2. And you do that all the way along to the end. And I'll see you at the end of row 7. Right, so at the end of row 7, you've done your 2 trebles in the chain space, and then you do a treble in that last stitch, like that. And then you fasten off. Now for row 8, you are using the pink and you don't turn, so you've got the wrong side still facing. And you'll start with the pink, not the ice pink. So it's a slightly different shade than you used before. It's this shade. Right, so with the wrong side, you join the pink onto the top of that treble. And you do 3 chain. So there's joining it. And then it's 1, 2, 3. And then you'll do it in a treble into every stitch until the end. So this doesn't count as a stitch, so you'll do it in there. Another treble in there. And you'll do it all the way along. And I'll see you at the end of row 8. Right, so when you get to the end of row 8, it says you turn, and it says to fasten off. So you're turning so you'll be on the right side. It says to fasten off, but if you look at row 9, it says using the pink 3 chain. So you don't want to fasten off there because you're going to be rejoining it again in exactly the same place. So I think that's an error. So I wouldn't fasten off this. I would just carry on. So, so row 9, which is the first part of your raspberry, you join or carry on using the pink. You do a 3 chain, and you 1 treble into each of the first and second stitches. So that's this one, and this one here. Change into Cupid on the last stitch. That's this one here. Right, so you change to this one. And then you do a raspberry. And the raspberry is 7 trebles. So it's very similar to the strawberry. 7 trebles into the next stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you pull the grass through, which is, it'll be easier once these are joined. So you're going through the first one, then back through the hoop, the loop you just had, and then you pull this through like that. And then instead of going in between every single one of these, like we did with the strawberry, so you miss 2, insert, miss 2, insert, and miss 2, insert. So you only have 4 loops on the hook this time, and then you pull that through. And tighten everything, and then you're back onto the pink, and you do 2 trebles, weaving in all this stuff along as you go. That's 1, 2, and that will be your raspberry. So you can give that a little pull, and that will be your raspberry. So then you do the repeat, so you're doing 2 trebles, and when you get to this last one here, make sure everything's tight so you haven't got any sort of bulge in here or in the back, and using the Cupid colour you pull it through, and then you do 7 trebles into this stitch. There we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back in here, back through here, and pull the green so it's nice and tight, and then that goes through there and there. And I would keep the green reasonably tight. Slip your finger in there so you can hold that. Right, you're missing 2. So that's 1, 2. You're going in there, pulling a loop through. And you're going in there, pulling a loop through. And you're missing the last 2. And you're going in between the last 2 stitches. And then pull it all the way through. And then you're back on the pink, and you're doing 2 treble and then 2 treble, so really 4 treble in between each strawberry. And then the last one, you'll pull everything tight again, and you will finish the treble in the darker pink, and then you will do 7 trebles again. Five, 6, 7. And then insert the hook into the first one of the Cupid, then back through here. Then make sure you pull the green so it's tight. And then that comes through here like that. And then I'm putting my finger in there, missing 2, loop, pull through, miss 2, loop, pull through, and that last one, pull through 4 loops on the hook, and then pull through. Then pull your Cupid, pick up your pink, and then do your 4 trebles. And then that's ready to pull the Cupid in. Yeah, so that's what it should look like. Keeping your threads tight so they don't show through here. And carry on to the end, and I'll see you at the end. Right, so when you get to the end of row 9, you should just be doing 2 of the pink trebles in there, and then you fasten off the Cupid and the grass green, because you won't be using that again. And this is what it should look like. And now it is a bit stretchy, but you will find that the next row will pull it in a bit. So you turn and you carry on with your pink. Now you're doing 3 chain. That's 1, 2, 3. And you're doing a treble into this stitch, the stitch you did the 3 chaining, because that doesn't count as a stitch. So that's your first treble. Then you do a treble into the next stitch, and then you're only working over the strawberry, you're only working into the green. So you do a treble into that V there, and then you don't do one into there, that's not a stitch. You go straight into the pink, and you do 4 trebles, 1 in each pink stitch. And then you're just going into the green. So you're going to find there, and then straight into the pink. So you don't do any stitches in the Cupid at all. Keeping your tension, and then hopefully it will draw it all in. So just the green, and then straight into the pink. And that's what it should look like at the back. Right, so this is what it should look like on the front, the right side. And as you can see, just about see a few gaps, but that will even out as you go on. And I think you can see already that it's drawing it in as we go along. So it should be okay. Whereas obviously here it's spanned out a lot more. But it does pull it in as you go, as you start working that row. Okay, so I'll see you at the end of row 10, and we'll be changing to the white. Right, so the end of row 10, you should have done your pink trebles all the way along. I've counted mine, I've got 170, so I've got the right number of stitches. You then turn and you're going to be joining the white. So I fastened off and I'm joining the white in here, and you're going to do 3 chain, and you're going to just do a treble into every stitch all the way along. So you will be doing it into that first stitch where the 3 chain was, because 3 chain doesn't count, and then you're going all the way along and you're doing a treble into each stitch like that all the way along. Okay, and we'll do that all the way along, and then the next row will be with the lime. So I'll see you when you finish row 11 and the start of row 12. Right, so this is the end of row 11, which was done on the right side, and it says to fasten off and then do not turn and then start the lime. Well, if you're I don't think you need to fasten off, so I'm not going to bother cutting mine, because if you're not going to turn, you're going to come along here with the lime and then you're going to start with the white again. So I'm going to leave mine attached. We're going to the beginning of the right side, so because we're not turning, and we're going to start with the lime. So the lime goes in there. This is what we've done before, so it's pretty easy. We're just repeating what we did down here. So you're doing joining, and then you're doing 1 chain, and then you're doing a double crochet in that same stitch, because the chain doesn't count as a stitch, and then you're going to do another double crochet, then you're going to chain 1, miss a stitch, and do a double crochet. So you've got 2 double crochet to start off with, then you've got missed a stitch, 1 chain, and done a double crochet. So again, you 1 chain, miss a stitch, do a double crochet, 1 chain, miss a stitch, do a double crochet, and you do that all the way along to the end, and then we will be turning and joining the white. Well, my white's already joined, and then we will start row 13. So I'll see you at the end of row 12. So when you get to the end of row 12, you fasten off the lime, and then you turn, and if you fastened off the white, you add it, or if like me you didn't, then you just carry on with the white. So I'm going to slip stitch into there, start it off, and then you do 3 chain, 2, 3, you do a treble into that first stitch, because 3 chain doesn't count as a stitch, and then you do 2 trebles into each chain space all the way along, exactly the same as we did in this row here. So that's 1, 2, and then 1, 2, and you carry on and you do that right to the end, and you should have 170 trebles. And when you get to the end, you turn and you do row 14, which is a treble into every stitch. So I will see you at the end of row 14. Right, so this is the end of row 14. Row 13 was the 2 trebles into the space, chain space, and row 14 was a treble into every stitch. Now it says at the end here that you're not to turn before you start the next row. So that would mean that would mean that we're going to have to fasten off and move our thread to the other end of our work. So as not to turn. So we're staying on the right side, and we'll be joining at the end here. And it says to work row 15 as row 3. So that will be 3 chain. That's 1, 2, 3. Then you're doing a treble into the first stitch. And then you're going to do 1 chain, miss a stitch, 1 treble into the next. And you're going to do that all the way along. So we're actually doing the ladder effect that we did down here, and this is getting it ready for the ripple that we're going to do. So we're doing it here, and we're going to be doing it the same as this one here, and then we'll be working our ripples on that. So I am now going to do, I'm going to put a stitch marker in my row 15, so I'll be able to show you where I've been working from. And I am now going to finish row 15, do row 16 and 17, and I'll see you at the end of row 17. Right, so that's row 15, 16 and 17, and as you can see we've now got these eyelets at the top here and down here, and we're going to do the frill the same as what we did on this one here, this lovely frill. We're going to do that in here and in here, and we're going to be using the pink again. So it's quite easy to do. You started off like this. You start on this post here and you join with the ice pink, and you do 2 chain, and then you're doing 4 half treble around the post. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're standing to attention. And then you turn your work round and you do 5 half trebles here. So you round this post here like that, oh, like that, and you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you put it back like this again, this one, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you'll turn it round and do it again, and as you can see you're getting this lovely frill. And we'll do this one next, and then turn and carry on right to the end, and then we'll do the same along this length here, and I'll see you when you've finished. Right, so it's finished. I've done it, and isn't it beautiful? Really loved it. I think this is prettier than the other one. So, but yeah, there we are, both done. All that's left is the lemons now, I think. So I'm going to do that in a part 3. Yeah, the lemon fruit. So I'm going to do that in a part 3 so I can get this one out as soon as possible. But yes, I really enjoyed doing the raspberries, and I've checked my stitch count is correct, and it measures the same. So that's good. So it should all go together nicely. And yeah, so I hope you enjoy doing yours and yours went well. And I'll see you soon for the lemon fruit. And then I believe week 4 has just come out. So I'll be back for week 4 as well. So thanks for watching. Bye for now.